Alright, everyone, and welcome to the Champions League quarterfinals reactions. So I will go over each match, accounting for both legs. So here we go. Alright, first up we got Arsenal versus Bayern. So let's be honest, we all thought the game was over before it even started. Like, there were posts all over social media about like, oh, Bayern is gonna destroy Arsenal, it too, and all that. And I also thought it was true. Like, I thought Arsenal had it coming that they were gonna lose so bad, just because of the history between these two rivals. But I have to admit, Arsenal did surprise me, even though the outcome of this game goes towards Bayern Munich. So before this quarterfinals, I predicted Arsenal to lose, which I was right, but I did not expect how much of a fight Arsenal were able to put up against their rivals. If you look at the stats right here, you can see that pretty much in terms of possessions, shots on target, it's all the same. Both sides really had the chance to win. So I think that's why they won. When you have these class players on your team like Kimmich, Eric Dyer, it's almost impossible to find that line of pass through to Havertz or Saka. And we saw this pretty much the entire game. It was very hard for Arsenal's midfielders or defenders to find a straight line into the attack. There wasn't really much of a threat, is what I'm saying. So that is why I think Bayern won this game. Now, moving on next to the most disappointing one, the one that I'm the most sad about the result, Man City versus Real Madrid. Now, of course, I wanted Man City to win. I mean, look at these stats right here. We dominated them in every single stat. And in my opinion, we actually deserve to win that game. Goals, even expected goals, shots on targets, possession. We were like constantly a threat to them. But with the likes of Rudiger, with his physicality and pace, he defended Haaland too well. I know a lot of Man City fans on social media saying that Haaland was a decoy and the real threat was like through like others attackers like Foden. But come on, it's just excuses. Going into this game, we should never doubt Real Madrid. They have the experience and they're ultimately the kings of this competition. But I just had the thought that if Haaland and De Bruyne would have stayed on until the penalty shootout, I think we could have won the game. But what a horrible penalty by Bernardo Silva. I was surprised he was taking it and not, somebody else who was on the pitch. Like Rodri. Why wasn't Rodri taking it? But what a penalty Edison scored, man. It was just pure quality. Now moving on to the next quarterfinal on the other side of the bracket, we have Barcelona versus PSG. Now let me tell you, man, from the start of this season all the way until now, I've been watching Barcelona and I can tell you, Rafinha, he's a class player. He's been so important for them in these past few games. Although Barcelona lost, I think it's just because PSG, overall they had better players. If you look at the attacking threat for the whole game, you can see it's pretty even. Both sides had their like good moments, but I just think ultimately when you have dangerous wingers like Mbappe, who are very hard to defend, all their chances, Mbappe is just a lethal finisher. He can convert all the chances that he gets, and the scoreline doesn't show actually how different the sides were. It was a very close game. But now, moving on to Atletico versus Borussia Dortmund, which in my opinion is the best quarterfinal game of this season. It has plenty of goals, and up until the game ended, I could see both sides going through. Like, the way Dortmund came back after being down from the first leg. The constant like Dortmund scores and then Atletico scores, and then you're like, who is going through? It was a very tight game. And look, in terms of stats, expected goals, shots, shots on target and possession. It is a very, very tight game. But I think for Borussia Dortmund, with the quality players, the likes of Sabitzer and all these players, it just gives them a higher chance. And that's why they ultimately went through. I saw Dortmund had more passion throughout this tournament. So overall, this game was very even. So overall, that's what I think about this quarterfinal matchup this season. Those who will be playing in the semi-final is Real Madrid versus Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund versus PSG. If you guys want me to predict that, I'll talk all about it. Leave a like. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed my commentary, or whatever you call this. Kind of like a podcast. But you guys can check out my previous video right here. And don't forget to subscribe. It's right there. Just click it. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.